Hello and welcome back to another Marks Mondays. Temperatures really dropped all of a sudden. Still got my shorts on, but yeah, last night the van temperature, I'll show you that here. Got one of these little temperature gauge things. It dropped down to 6.8 degrees. So the nighttime temperatures is really started to drop. Winter's on its way, so I hope you've all got your diesel heater sorted and up and running. I had a play about with mine the other day and managed to squidge the hose, so I've got that to repair. So yeah, right, so some good news for you guys is that the government has finally spoken up and said they're not going to introduce pay per mile, which is a really nice nice thing to hear, isn't it? So yeah, pay per mile is not coming our way for the time being, which I guess isn't a really big surprise to me, because on my trip down to Devon, Dorset and where else did we go, Somerset, I noticed along the M5 that there was large areas of no cameras, and also a lot of the little towns that we went to also didn't have cameras, so pay per mile wouldn't work down there. So yeah, that left me sort of wondering what the idea was. But the cameras up here are pretty much everywhere. And as I say, people have said they're speed cameras and seatbelt and phone cameras, which are more likely to be seatbelt and phone cameras, because some of the cameras around here, up in the Lakes and Lancaster and surrounding areas, the cameras are situated on roundabouts, so why would you put a speed camera on a roundabout? That just seems like the stupidest of places to put it. I think personally it's there because you slow down for a roundabout, don't you? Things move slower, so they can clock whether you're wearing your seatbelt or your registration number, which again goes towards pay per mile. So I don't think it's not gonna come in at all. I just think it's put off for a while. But it's good news for the time being in it anyway. So something I read in the news on Google News was Cambridge Council was about to put in no overnight parking restrictions, double yellow lines in an area where camper vans stop. Residents said that there was antisocial behaviour, nuisance, and 124 out of 210 people, 124 supported putting in parking restrictions, until the council made investigations into the area, and they found out that the people living in these vans were nurses, firefighters and ambulance drivers that couldn't afford the house prices in Cambridge. So it was essential workers living in these vans. The antisocial behaviour apparently was coming from nurses, firefighters and ambulance drivers. So I wonder how that goes down with the locals now that they know who's living in these vans, that it's just normal people going to work. So the people that the part of the reason was they said the locals said they didn't feel safe with the camper vans being parked there. Like the nurses from the hospital, firefighters, people you're going to call, ambulance drivers, the people you'll call when you need help are the people living in these vans, and they said they don't feel safe with them there. It just goes to show that it's racism, isn't it? It's just pure racism. It's they assume that the people are bad people because they live in a van. So yeah, this is in Cambridge at Riverside. If you're one of the van dwellers down there, leave a note in the messages below and tell me what's going on. It'd be nice to hear from you guys. So yeah, I'll just show you that anyway. So that's the. I'll put a link in, shall I? I'll put a link in below. I'm not doing a very good job of this. So yeah, the councillors themselves have turned around and said, well, if they put in the yellow lines now, or they get rid of the vans, putting no overnight parking ban up, they'll lose their nurses, firefighters and ambulance drivers. So yeah, that'll teach them a lesson, won't it? So yeah, that's going to go down really well. No nurses, no ambulance drivers for the local community. So yeah, there's a little bit of news for you. Sue has gone off backpacking. I'm babysitting the vans and my dog. She's gone off with Zebby, staying out for a few nights out in the hills. And if you want to see that, then nip over to Sue's channel, I guess. I think she's going to put it on her channel, but I'm not totally sure. And if you don't know already, Sue's got her own channel called Sue Outdoors. I'll put a link or something in the description below, so you can find her channel. So yeah, Sue Outdoors. That's Sue with an I-U-O-X. Yeah, nip over there, and I think if you're interested in that sort of thing, don't just subscribe because of it's Sue, but subscribe because you want to watch the content mainly, is what I'm saying, I think.